A lot of individuals have talent that they don't know of. It's hidden. I started teaching in schools way back as an artist in residence. And mostly I went to the grade schools, the smaller kids, and gave them soap to carve to see where their talent was. And it seemed like all of them had talent. There is talent in an individual, they just have to discover it. And it takes extra effort to do what interests you. First of all, there has to be interest. If you want to, become a sculptor or a painter. It's a hard road, but it's an exciting road, to be your own boss and do what is from your heart and your mind. And sculpting is one of the toughest to learn, I believe, because it's a very dusty job and stones are, some are blocked because it's alive to me. Stone is alive just like the mountains. And it has stories, like I said. It just needs someone to bring that story out. And on this particular piece, that was a story, Chaco Canyon. And I started doing these. I might get him molds and make, to hang on the wall. Paper cast. You can do paper cast sculptures with this. When I go out looking for stones at the quarries, I walk around with a bottle of water. And it's like being in a candy store. Oh, I get so excited. You pour water and say, oh, I want that one. I want that one too. It's so exciting. And I'm driving back from Utah and I keep looking back and say, which one am I going to work with first? Wow, that tall one looks nice. Or shall I do the other one? It's like a little kid being in a candy store. It's so exciting. This stone is from the Rio Grande River. And it's called Rio Grande River Slate. And it's one of the beautiful stones I like to work with. It really polishes well. I have some at the shop. And this one already looks like a woman. I like standing. I haven't visualized it, but I can see a figure in here. I just have to keep wetting it and see what side I get real comfortable with. I keep pouring water on it to see the colors. I try to utilize those colors. I keep moving it around. I touch it, I feel it. Then I start, chiseling it. I get the feeling of it. And I like unusual shapes because sometimes you can see something right away already with the unusual, more so not with blocks of stone, but I started with unusual shapes of cedar when I first started sculpting. I used to look for wood that had movement, the branches. And it seems like I incorporated that into my stone. That's why I like stones that have different, cracks or different faults. To become a true artist, it's inside. You have to discover that. And it's nowadays, with the way the economy is, you have to work extra hard, to become a fine artist and well known and make sales to make a living like I have for the last 44 years. To become a sculptor or a painter, you need patience to relax yourself and come up with ideas and not to rush. Do things, that you feel are important, stories that you have heard. I never planned a sculpture, but it's amazing how when I'm done with a sculpture, it fits a perfect story. recently I started, in the winter, I started going up in the hills where there might be a waterfalls or water dripping, where ice forms, and do a sculpture for nature, and just leave it. You know, with my little axe, my hatchet, I carved like 3 faces. There was one that I did down on the Gorge Bridge, and there was a big waterfall, and this whole section of wall froze, maybe about 12 feet long. I went down there and I carved 4 faces. And a month later I went down and it was melting and you could see the faces, you know. I went down there 3 months later and they looked like aliens, it was, you could barely see the nose and the eyes. It was melting. That's what I like about doing ice. But when I go lecture to kids about they want to become artists, you know, I tell them to take a second look at it. You know, look at it as a hobby first, and do what you need to do to make a living. And if you start really enjoying it, you know, then you can make it a full-time job. But art, you know, is everywhere now, and it's in the internet and everywhere. And they have more reason to learn more about art than way back, you know, because it's all available now everywhere, in books and television. You know, I think kids nowadays, as they grow up, you know, our grandfathers, when I was growing up at the Pueblo, we're all so closely connected. The people that lived inside the Pueblo, everybody knew each other's. And nobody lives in the Pueblo anymore. And hardly anyone knows each other anymore for that reason. But in evenings, you know, especially in the winter time, we used to go visit our grandparents, and we used to sit by the fire and they used to tell us stories, you know, children's stories, adult stories, and they used to draw images along the walls, you know, and from that the youngsters would get ideas of maybe art. And they used to emphasize that art is part of your culture, because a lot of Indian artifacts are carved in wood, and those are used religiously. That's where art first came in, as religious, and also the pottery was utilized, you know, cooking ware. Now it's all for the beauty of homes all over the world, to beautify their homes, like my art and the potters. Right out of high school, I went to college, so I never worked for anybody. I never had a boss. That's one thing. Maybe I should have, I don't know, but I turned right into art right after college. So I've been supporting my family and making a living on my art for 44 years. And that's hard. So I emphasize that to youngsters, adults that want to become artists, full-time artists, that you need to do something else before you really become a true artist, and that's what you really want to be.
Yeah.
But it's a great challenge nowadays. But my work has taken me many places, and my work stands out. I've run into a lot of folks that get emotional when they see my work, like my family figures. It it has a lot of meaning to them because I put a lot into it. I work on a piece. I don't jump around on pieces. I work at one piece at a time and put all my energy, all my thoughts and my feelings into that piece. And then I finish it and I'm happy, and then I move on to another stone. I'm always excited. I'm always excited to see which stones I'm going to work next. And look at Taos Mountain, the surroundings, and get a good feeling for the day. Then I'm excited to start, especially if I'm working on a piece, I want to finish it, and I come in here. In the winter time, I'll build my fire and get it warm. But I always work outside, even in the cold, because I have to, it's dusty when I'm starting a piece. And it's a very dusty job, so all the dust flies all over, and so I won't breathe it. But I always wear a mask and eyeglasses to protect myself. And I never had major injuries at all. My hands are still fine. Until nothing can happen, otherwise I'll be very disappointed that I can't do my work. But I gotta find other ways now. I'm thinking about other things now that I can do as I get older, such as maybe bronzes, maybe wax sculptures and save those, make molds. But I still have bigger things in mind. I want to do a bigger piece than the one I did at the county. I'll show you two of my major tools, two of my favorite tools. I can create a sculpture with just these two things.
That's amazing.
This is a chisel with little teeth, which makes a nice texture. And this is a flat one that makes the noses and the eyes. And this will rough out the stone, such as